The air is thin and cold at 20,000 feet. Oberleutnant Richter banks his Messerschmitt Bf 109, the sun warm on his right cheek. Below, the English Channel is a placid, shimmering blue. Ahead, his squadron leader, Hauptmann Klaus, leads their flight of fighters, the tip of the spear for 100 bombers still climbing over out France. Richter's voice crackles over the radio, laced with the casual confidence of a veteran. "Anything, Klaus?" My eyes are dry from searching for their little British sparrows. Klaus's reply is cut short, not by static, by a flash of light and a puff of greasy black smoke where his plane used to be. There's no sound, no warning. One moment, a 109. The next, a cloud of falling metal. Richter yanks his stick, heart hammering against his ribs. He scans the sky, his head on a swivel. Above, empty blue. Below, empty green. There are no tracers, no enemy fighters diving from the sun. Nothing. Just an impossible, terrifying void where his leader used to be. What if the most advanced stealth fighter on Earth, a machine from 80 years in the future, entered the desperate skies of 1940? Could a single F-35 change the course of the Battle of Britain? Act 1. The Ghost of Biggin Hill. August 1940. The airfields of southern England are bone-weary. The smell of scorched grass, high-octane fuel, and stress hangs heavy in the summer air. At RAF Biggin Hill, amidst the patched-up Hurricanes and Spitfires, sits something impossible. It's a machine of gray, angled composites that seems to drink the light. The ground crews, used to wrestling with leaking Merlin engines, walk around it with a mixture of awe and suspicion. They call it the Spectre. Its pilot is Flight Lieutenant David Davies, a man pulled from his time and given a singular, secret task. As he walks toward the cockpit, the group captain stops him. "Listen, Davies, the Boffins call it a low observable asset. I call it a bloody miracle we can't afford to lose. Command wants you hunting the bombers, not the fighters. Your mission is to break up their formations before they hit the coast. Sow chaos, make them turn back. You are not to engage in a dogfight. You are not a Spitfire pilot today. You're a ghost." Nods, his face grim. "And the loadout, sir?" "2 missiles. That's it. We don't have the tools or the spares for a fast turnaround. You get 1 sortie this morning, and if God is smiling, maybe 1 more before sunset. Make them count." Inside the cockpit, the contrast is dizzying. He seals the canopy, and the familiar sounds of 1940, the rumble of lorry engines, the distant shouts, vanish, replaced by the cool hum of a digital world. On his panoramic display, the system boots up. There are no gauges, no dials, just a single, fused picture of reality. Miles away, in the underground operations room at RAF Uxbridge, Section Officer Finch leans over the giant plotting table. WAF operators with long wooden rakes push markers representing enemy and friendly squadrons. The data comes from Chain Home, Britain's early warning radar system, a brilliant but crude tool that can detect large formations but offers little precision. "Group of 40 plus, climbing over Calais," a voice calls out. "Looks like the main raid." Finch directs a marker onto the board. Squadron 72, scramble from Biggin Hill, Vector 190. She glances at a blank spot on the map, a designated operational area over the channel, Spectre's area. Her plot board shows nothing there. According to every instrument she has, Flight Lieutenant Davies doesn't exist. Davies climbs at a steady 30,000 feet, throttled back for endurance. He's a ghost to the world below, but on his screen, the world is laid bare. He sees the German raid not as a single plot, but as dozens of individual icons. Red triangles for the Bf-109 escorts, red squares for the Heinkel bombers. He sees their altitude, their speed, their heading, all from 80 miles away. He is a god with a thunderbolt looking down from an electronic Olympus. He has fuel for roughly 90 minutes of combat operations. 2 shots. The future of Britain may not rest on his shoulders, but the lives of the pilots scrambling to meet this raid certainly do. He designates the lead bomber of the foremost formation. A small diamond symbol locks onto the icon. The system whispers in his ear. Track stable, in range. Act 2, Fox 3 in a prop-driven world. The German bomber crews are anxious but focused. The English coast is a hazy line on the horizon. Their fighter escort, a swarm of hungry yellow-nosed 109s, weaves a protective screen above and around them. Oberleutnant Richter, having seen his flight leader vanish on the last raid, is now jumpy, his eyes scanning every cloud, every glint of sun. Davies' thumb hovers over the red button on his control stick. He is 45 miles away from his target, flying straight and level, completely unseen. From his perspective, it's less like combat and more like a simulation. He presses the button. Fox 3. The weapons bay door snaps open and closed in less than a second. A single AIM-120 AMRAAM drops, ignites its rocket motor, and accelerates to 3 times the speed of sound. It leaves no smoke trail he can see. It is a silent, hypersonic killer guided by a ghost. 20 seconds later, the lead Heinkel 111 disintegrates. The co-pilot sees a flicker of movement, a white streak for a split second before the cockpit erupts in a storm of shrapnel and flame. The bomber cartwheels, its payload of bombs detonating in a sympathetic explosion that rips the plane in 2. Panic floods the German radio net. He's hit! Who's hit? Where did it come from? I see nothing! Fighters! Where are the fighters? Break! Break left! Richter and his wingmen dive through their own bomber formation, desperately searching for an attacker. They see the burning remnants of the Heinkel. They see the terrified, scattered bombers. They do not see an enemy. It's a magic trick, a horrifying one. The bomber formation, its discipline shattered, begins to fracture. Some press on, others, unnerved, begin to turn back toward France. Mission Objective 1 accomplished, but Davies isn't done. He has 1 missile left. He calmly assesses the tactical picture. A second group of bombers is still holding formation. He selects the leader. His systems are already tracking, but the German fighters are no longer flying a neat escort pattern. They are a stirred-up hornet's nest, buzzing angrily in a wide, chaotic search. Richter, furious and scared, does the only thing he can think of. He orders his flight to spread out, to watch the sky in all directions. Look for smoke, a glint, anything. He has to be here. Davies selects his second target and fires, Fox 3. This time, Richter is looking in the right direction. He doesn't see the F-35, but as the missile arcs upwards from miles away, its motor burns for a few seconds. Against the deep blue of the upper atmosphere, he sees it. A tiny, faint white line appearing from nowhere and streaking towards the bombers. Missile! I see the missile. It came from below us, 11 o'clock low. He rolls his 109 and dives, firing his cannons wildly at the empty air where his instincts tell him the attacker must be. Other fighters follow, a cascade of tracers slicing through nothing. They are shooting at a ghost. A second bomber explodes. The raid is now in complete disarray. Davies fired his last weapon. His fuel gauge is ticking towards bingo. He is now defenseless, save for his stealth. He turns for home, pushing the throttle forward. The F-35 accelerates effortlessly, leaving the prop-driven chaos far behind. He slips away as silently as he arrived. Act 3, The Rumor of Ghosts. Davies lands back at Biggin Hill. The silence from his debrief is deafening. You shot down 2 from 40 miles away? The group captain asks, rubbing his temples. And they never saw you? Never, sir. I was Winchester and heading home before their fighters knew where to look. In the Uxbridge Ops Room, Section Officer Finch receives the kill confirmations. 2 confirmed bomber kills attributed to callsign Spectre. She looks at the plotting table, where the raid is shown as scattered and largely repulsed. She places 2 small swastika markers in the middle of the channel, but there's no corresponding RAF marker to place next to them. No dogfight was ever plotted. It was an immaculate interception. A ghost had struck and vanished. For the Luftwaffe, the psychological toll is immediate and severe. Pilots report phantom fighters, attacks from impossible altitudes, missiles appearing from thin air. The High Command dismisses it as combat fatigue, as British propaganda, but the fear is real. Bomber crews grow tense. Fighter pilots like Richter become obsessed, chasing shadows and wasting fuel on phantom hunts. The calm industrial process of bombing Britain now has a terrifying random variable: the ghost of the Channel. But could this one asset truly change history? The answer is no. The F-35 is a miracle, but it's a fragile one, bound by the logistics of 1940. With only 2 missiles per sortie and a maximum of 2 sorties per day, Davies can at best shoot down 4 bombers. On days when the Luftwaffe sends over 1,000 aircraft, his contribution is a statistical rounding error. He can break up one formation, but he can't be in 3 places at once. The relentless pressure of numbers, of industrial warfare, simply absorbs the shock. The battle is still won or lost by the hundreds of tired men in Spitfires and Hurricanes, fighting desperately over Kent. What if we change one variable? If Davies had been equipped with a full load of 4 internal missiles, he could have inflicted more damage, perhaps turning back an entire raid on his own. But that would only increase the Luftwaffe's paranoia, focusing their efforts on hunting this one phantom, perhaps developing new tactics like mass fighter sweeps just to find him. Or what if the F-35's engine had ingested a single bird on takeoff? Or if a stray 1940s lorry had damaged its landing gear on a muddy airfield? The single, irreplaceable asset would be lost, and the timeline would snap back, its brief deviation erased. The Spectre was a scalpel in a battle of broadswords. It could make a precise, terrifying cut, but it couldn't stop the charge. History, it turns out, has a powerful inertia. Debrief. So, what does this tell us? First, technology without the right ecosystem is a chained giant. The F-35's true power comes from its network: satellites, AWACS, data links, and a modern logistics chain. In 1940, it was an apex predator fighting with one arm tied behind its back. Second, the psychological impact of a technological leap can be as powerful as its physical effect. The fear of the unknown, the ghost, did more to disrupt the Luftwaffe than the 2 bombers Davies actually destroyed. And finally, it shows that wars aren't won by silver bullets. They are won by logistics, numbers, and the unbreakable will of the many, not the magic of the few. The F-35 in 1940 was an anomaly, not a war winner. Change one rule. What would you tweak to make the F-35 more decisive? Give it a wingman, unlimited missiles for one day, or modern tanker support over the channel? Let us know in the comments.